This won't be painful at all for American people and consumers, Karoline?
It's going to be, there's not going to be any pain for American-owned companies and American workers.
Look at this, folks. Investors and traders are enduring a $2.5 trillion vaporized just this session alone. Workers, retirees, pensioners, no doubt, unhappy as they peek at their 401ks, retirement funds, their kids' 529 college savings funds.
Donald Trump's press secretary, Karoline Leavitt, told reporters today that the American people would not feel any pain as a direct consequence of Donald Trump's disastrous global tariffs. But the news is coming in, and people are indeed feeling that pain, which also includes mass layoffs by a U.S. automaker. But before we unpack all that, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. All right, friends, the facts seem to contradict the best propaganda efforts of the Trump administration. I want you to see Trump's top spokesperson, Karoline Leavitt, look the camera in the eye and say, yeah, the American people, American workers, they've got nothing to worry about.
Effectively implementing tariffs while also...
This won't be painful at all for American people and consumers, Karoline?
It's going to be, there's not going to be any pain for American-owned companies and American workers because their jobs are going to come back home. And again,
so there you have it. No pain, okay? No pain. It's going to be just fine. Well, we got some other clips to play. Actually, let me start with these clips, okay? I want to just some anecdotes, some really compelling anecdotes of people who've been hit in terms of groceries or in terms of, you know, the cost of goods at, coffee shops and things like that. And then we'll get into how a U.S. automaker just laid off 900 people as a direct consequence of the Trump tariffs.
Hey, Kelly. So we're here in Teterboro, Costco on one side, a Walmart right behind me. We've been talking to a lot of people who in many cases are doing their weekly shopping. And the common refrain we've heard is that prices were already going up and they are worried they could go up even more and that the consumer is feeling very stressed. We heard from one woman who even said that the same basket of groceries that she regularly buys has now effectively doubled. Take a listen.
I feel like the prices are ridiculous now. It's to the point where it's going to be harder for people to shop because the prices are just insane. Literally, yes, because last week I literally for the same amount of stuff that I bought, I literally paid like maybe 30, 40 bucks. And now it's like $75 for like 3 bags of groceries. It's like completely insane.
It is completely insane. That's a direct example. I just saw this one pop up courtesy of Fox News, of all people. Fox News torpedoing the idea that people have not been materially harmed as a direct consequence of Trump's tariffs. Let's take a look at this.
U.S. markets bearing the brunt of the global market sell-off. Look at this, folks. Investors and traders are enduring a $2.5 trillion vaporized just this session alone. Workers, retirees, pensioners, no doubt, unhappy as they peek at their 401ks, retirement funds, their kids' 529 college savings funds. But the collateral damage to individual sectors and stocks here in the U.S. way more profound and widespread. Let's start with U.S. tech. It is getting slashed right now. We've got on the screen Amazon, Nvidia, Meta. Nvidia now at $103 and change. We've got Amazon at $179, down 8%. Meta down 7.5%. But let's show you Apple because it is absolutely cratering due to its extreme exposure to China, where a big chunk, 90%, according to Citigroup, of its phone manufacturers, that's where that's happening. China, and shares right now down 9.5% today alone. The stock has seen more than $300 billion sliced off the market cap. Energy is actually the worst performing sector. Look at the plunge in the price of oil and gasoline. We are in the aftermarket at the moment, but crude oil here, West Texas Intermediate, down 6.75%, below $67 per barrel. Brent crude down 6.5%, $70 barely. And then we've got RBOB gas.
Yikes. So that's not good at all. That's not good at all. Total contradiction between what Karoline Leavitt said and what the reality is. Again, as a direct consequence of the Trump tariffs, as reported by Fox News, of all places. That's a friendly media environment at the bare minimum for Donald Trump. Here's another example of an anecdotal situation about a person suffering as a direct consequence of this. And then again, we'll take a look at that mass layoff involving Stellantis.
So far it's the same, but I was in a restaurant depot to buy some aluminum plate foil. The price go up from $42 to $59.60 for the 500 aluminum plate.
That man, Mike, you heard from just there. He owns a cafe. He was stocking up on things like sugar and croissants. And he told me that he's already been passing along these higher prices to his customers. And he said that he can't raise them anymore and that he's worried that as prices continue to rise, the only option for him is to just have it eat into his profits. And he's worried about the kind of impact that's going to have on his business.
Sounds like pain for the American worker and the American consumer, Karoline Leavitt. So let's take a look here. Tariff-related layoffs hit 5 U.S. auto plants to supply factories in Canada and Mexico. Stellantis has, quote, paused production at some of its Canadian and Mexican auto assembly plants due to newly announced tariffs. And as a result, some U.S. workers will also be temporarily laid off. Among those to be laid off are 900 U.S. hourly employees who make powertrains and stampings that supply the affected Canadian and Mexican plants, Stellantis said Thursday. The temporary layoffs are due to reduced production prompted by the tariffs. The affected U.S. employees work at 5 different Midwest plants, the Warren Stamping and Sterling Stamping plants in Michigan, as well as the Indiana Transmission Plant, the Kokomo Transmission Plant, and Kokomo Casting Plant, all in Kokomo, Indiana. Most of these workers at the 5 U.S. plants will not immediately lose pay due to the terms of their union contract, but there would be a risk of lost pay even with union protections, thank you, Joe Biden, and Democrats, if the unions at the Mexican and Canadian plants become prolonged. Stellantis' assembly plant in Windsor, Ontario, which produces Chrysler Pacifica and Voyager, as well as Dodge Charger Daytona, will be closed for 2 weeks starting Monday. That plant employs 4,500 hourly workers. Yikes. So, we are seeing a direct consequence of Donald Trump's tariffs that is causing pain to the American people, the American consumer, the American worker. So when Karoline Leavitt says there won't be any, well, it's just contradicted by the facts. The facts say not only will there be, there currently is. And this is just the first day after Trump made the announcement. Technically, as far as I know, none of the tariffs have actually been implemented directly yet. This is merely the threat of tariffs. This is what the threat of the tariffs are triggering for the American people. So it's just a callous, indifferent statement from a callous, indifferent administration. We've already discussed in a previous video how Trump is effectively running from reporters so he doesn't have to face the consequences of this. There's no telling how long it'll last because Trump is wildly inconsistent and there's no method to his madness. This could last a day, a week, a month, 2 months. Who knows? But when the Trump administration tells you, when they look you dead in the face on camera and say there won't be any pain, there will be. And there already is. And there's probably going to be a hell of a lot more around the corner. That's where we are. In the meantime, let me know what you think in the comments.